guys, today is Thursday, April 23rd, 2020, and today we're doing lesson 7-4, multiplying fractions by whole numbers. So hopefully you guys had a chance to practice those math facts. I hope that you guys had a chance to take a look at the bump game that I sent last night and also the tic-tac-toe game that I sent on Tuesday. Monday night, you would have gotten it. It was posted for Tuesday and for Wednesday. Those are just some fun games that you guys can play for math fact practice. So I'm not going to send any more tonight, but those are two that you can use, and the next week I'll post some new ones. Let's get ready for our warm. All right, so today we're going to talk about multiples for our warm-up. So we're doing the sixth multiple of 4. So the sixth multiple of 4. So what that really means is that you're doing 6 times 4. Give you a second to figure that out. And hopefully you got 24. All right, let's do the next one. The fifth multiple of 8, which is another way of saying 5 times 8. Okay, and hopefully you got 40. Our next one is the ninth multiple of 3, which is another way of saying 9 times 3. And hopefully if you did that, you got 27. Now we're going to do some fractions, some multiples of fractions. So the third multiple of 1/2. So we're doing 3 times 1/2. This is something we've been spending the last few days on, so hopefully this looks familiar to you. So when we do that, we're doing 3 over 1 times 1 over 2. 3 times 1 is 3, and 1 times 2 is 2. So the third multiple of 1/2 is 3/2. Let's go to the last one. The fifth multiple of 1/6. So we're doing 5 times 1/6. So 5 over 1 times 1 over 6. 5 times 1 is 5. 1 times 6 is 6. So the fifth multiple of 1/6 is 5/6. All right, so now we're going to take a look at our math message. It says the lap around the indoor track at Mill Run Elementary is 1/8 of a mile. Write a multiplication equation to show the total distance Lucas walked when he completed 3 laps. Okay, so 3 laps is important information, and we also need to know the distance around is 1/8 of a mile. So if he's doing 3 laps of 1/8 of a mile, then we need to write a multiplication equation for that. So we're going to be doing 3 times 1/8. Go ahead and press pause and write down the answer to this multiplication equation, and when you come back, we will talk about your answer. All right, so we put 3 over 1 times 1 over 8. 3 times 1 is 3. 1 times 8 is 8. So our answer is 3/8 of a mile, but it says between what two whole numbers does your answer lie? Okay, think about a number line. We start with 0 on our number line. And then the next whole number after 0 is 1. And right here in the middle is 1/2. If I want to make an equivalent fraction so that the denominator is 8, that would be like saying 4/8. So 3/8 is less than that. So you're between what two whole numbers does your answer lie? It lies between 0 and 1. Good. Let's go on to the next one. All right, now we're going to extend that story by switching up the fraction. Now let's read this new one. It says 1 lap around the indoor track at Mill Run Elementary is 5/8 of a mile. Write a multiplication equation to show the total distance Lucas walked when he completed 3 laps. Okay, so 3 laps and 5/8 of a mile. So that means we're going to multiply 3 times 5/8. Same procedure. We're going to take 3 and put 3 over 1, and then we're going to write 5/8. Okay, so 3 times 5, I know, is 15, and 1 times 8 is 8. I wouldn't say, oh, Lucas walked 15/8 of a mile. I would want to change that to a mixed number. And guys, I've been noticing on some of your math papers that you are not changing your improper fractions to mixed numbers. I need you to start doing that. Some of you, I have made comments on your assignments and said, hey, fix that. But I haven't been noticing that you fixed it. So I really need you to think about that when you're doing your math. So let's go ahead and take this improper fraction and we're going to turn it into a mixed number, and we're doing that by division. So 15 divided by 8. I know that 8 times 2 is 16, which won't work. So I have to do 8 times 1, which is 8. 15 minus 8 would be 7. So 7 is my remainder. So my fraction would be 1 7/8. Let me write that a little bit better. So this is how far he walked if the distance around the track is 5/8 of a mile. I put a number line down here just so that I could show you on a number line how to do this picture. And then one thing I forgot to do is to color the fraction circles. So I'm going to go real quick and do that. Not a very nice coloring job today, but that's all right. So 5, 10, 15. So there's 15/8. All right, let's look at this number line. I want to show you how you can use a number line to do your skip. So we're going to start with 0 on our number line. And then instead of writing all the numbers, I'm going to just skip count. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 4/8, 8/8, 12/8, and then 16/8. So he's starting at 0. When he starts doing his laps, he's starting at 0 and he's going to 5/8. That's why I stopped just past that mark that I made for 4/8. So that is 1 lap. And then he's going to go 5 more. Okay, another 5/8. Then he's going to go another 5/8. And he's going to end right here on 15/8, right there. All right, so this is just a couple of ways to show pictures that you can show how you solve these problems. All right, let's go to the next slide. So basically what I've got here is it's a rule for writing multiplication equations for fractions. So we already know how to write multiplication equations for unit fractions because this is what we did yesterday, okay? So look here. Whoop, let me switch the color here so you can see it. This is our formula or our rule that we developed yesterday. So A over B equals A times 1 over B. And what I did here was I just made a sample equation. So I have 3/4 equals 3 times 1/4. So 3 is A. Okay, so you've got a 3 where the A would go from this picture here. Okay, and then you've got a 4 where the B would go. So let's solve this one. This is the one we just did. All right. So we're going to figure out that this is actually the same type of problem. So 3/1 times 5/8 equals 15/8. Okay, so 3 is the A, and then 5/8 would be 1 times 5/8. All right, let's slide. All right, we're going to take a look here at our math workbook, and I want you to go ahead. If you need to get that, I want you to pause the recording. We're going to work today on this page here, and then you will have homework on the next page. All right, so go ahead and pause if you need to grab your workbook. All right, let's zoom in here on this page and look and see what it's asking us to do. It says the Hillside Elementary School Walking Club meets every Monday after school. The table below shows how far some students walked at their last meeting. So, we have Katie, she walked 2/3 of a mile. We have Mapara, she walked 9/10 of a mile. We have Nikhil, he walked 1 1/4 of a mile. Cole walked 2.5 miles. We have Maria, who walked 4/3 of a mile. And then we have Jack, who walked 5/6 of a mile. So it says Katie walks the same distance at every meeting. Find out how far she will walk after 2 meetings. Okay, so 2 meetings. So Katie is right here. So let's draw a picture. So I'm going to draw fraction circles and divide those into thirds. And she travels the same distance at both of those meetings. So we have 2 for 2 meetings times 2/3. Okay, 2 would be 2/1 times 2/3. 2 times 2 is 4. 1 times 3 is 3. So 4/3 of a mile. Let's go ahead and take that and turn that into a mixed number for part C, okay? So 4 divided by 3. So 4/3 is the same thing as 1 1/3. So 1 1/3 of a mile. Between what 2 whole numbers does your answer lie? Okay, think about number line. We have 0, we have 1, we have 2. So we know that our number lies between 1 and 2 because it lies about right there. Okay, so here's a clue for you. If you're looking for between which 2 whole numbers does your answer lie, if there is a whole number in your mixed number, use that number as your first digit that you can say, all right? So we know that the first whole number that it lies between is 1, and then the next whole number after 1 is just 2. Okay, and then you can see here on the number line how that makes sense. Let's go ahead and move to the next. All right, so on this page, we are going to take a look at number 2. It says Jack walks the same distance at every meeting. Find out how far he will walk after 4 meetings. Draw a picture. So I'm going to draw a number line. And I know from the other page that I can't see now, but you have your workbook in front of you, that Jack walks 5/6 of a mile. So I'm going to draw a number line that goes all the way across here. I'm going to go ahead and hit pause and get all this drawn on here, and then you can catch up. So I'm going to go ahead and hit pause. All right, guys, so I went ahead and drew my number line, and I went ahead and divided it up into, I went all the way up to 24/6. So I'm going to go ahead and start at 0, and I'm going to make a hop of 5/6. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'm going to end right here. And you see that that's just before it says 6/6. So now I'm going to hop 5 more, and I'm going to stop right here. Which is 2 spots before 12/6, so that would be 10/6 right here. And then I'm going to make another hop of 5/6, and I'm going to end right here. Sorry, my drawing isn't exactly to scale. Not a very good drawer, but you already know that. And this one would be 15/6, and then this one would be 26. Okay, so let's write our multiplication equation. So we're doing 4 meetings, and he's doing 5/6 of a mile at each one. So let's do 4/1 times 5/6. 4 times 5 is 20, and 1 times 6 is 6. Okay. I don't have a whole lot of room here to do my division, but I do want to reduce that. I do want to take this fraction here and turn it into a mixed number. So I'm going to go right up here where I have a little bit of room. And guys, please be following along in your book. If you haven't been, I want you to go back and play the previous slides and copy these down. It's so important that you get a chance to practice it. So I know that 6 times 3 is 18. So 20 minus 18 is 2. So 2 is my remainder. So it'd be 3 and 2/6 of a mile. So we'll write down, our answer is 20/6, or 3 and 2/6. So guys, I'm going to say this again, and I'm going to say it a few more times before our lesson is over. When you are submitting your answers, you have to take those improper fractions and turn them into mixed numbers, okay? Now, it says, between what two whole numbers does your answer lie? I can look at that mixed number and I can see that the whole number of that mixed number is 3. So that's what I'm going to put. It's a little bit bigger than 3. And then what would the next whole number be after 3? It would be 4. Okay? So it says, between what two whole numbers does your answer lie? It lies between 3 and 4. It's closer to 3 than it is to 4, but does that make sense? Go to the next slide. So it says, today for your homework, please solve problems 3 through 8 on page 239 of your workbook. Show all of your work. So let's zoom in here and take a look at it. It says, number 3 says, Maria walks the same distance at every meeting. Find out how far she will walk after 7 meetings. Okay, so you're going to want to look at that chart on the previous page and find out how far she walks at 1 meeting, and then multiply that number by 7. And then you're going to change your answer. If you get an improper fraction, you have to change it to a mixed number. All right? Guys, please don't post on Seesaw. I don't get it. I don't know what you mean. Go back and rewatch the other 2 problems that we just solved. Okay? Because I think a lot of you are getting a little bit overwhelmed, but I think if you listen, I think you guys are so smart, and I think you will get it if you just watch it again. Okay? But I'm happy to help you, all right? Please don't ever think that I'm not happy to help you, but I do want you to try this because you're so smart. So you have to do the same 3 parts that we just did on numbers 1 and 2. And then number 4 says, if at every meeting they walk the distance shown on the table, who walks the greater distance? Mapara after 6 meetings or Nikhil? So you have to figure out how far Mapara walks after 6 meetings, and you have to figure out how far Nikhil walks after 4 meetings, and then you have to compare it. And you're going to compare it by subtracting it, because it's asking you how much more. So once you solve Mapara and once you solve Nikhil, then whichever one is bigger, subtract that one minus the smaller one, okay? And then part C, that just means show your work. It says show how you solve the problem. Just show your work. Number 5 says, make up your own multiplication number story about one of the walking club students. Yes, you have to do this. You need to make up a story. Okay, so you could say, let me look here. Cole walks 2.5 miles each day, and how far would he walk after 5 days? Okay, so you would just take that problem and write it out, and then you're going to solve it. Okay, and then number 6, and number 7, you're just straight up solving the problems. And then down here on number 8 is a Cole problem. It says a Cole walks the same distance at every meeting and wants to walk a total of 7.5 miles. How many meetings will he need to attend? Okay, so you're going to want to do repeated subtraction here. Cole walks 2.5 miles. So you're going to take 7.5, and you're going to do 7.5 minus 2.5 until you get to 0. And then how many times you did that subtraction problem is the number of meetings. Okay, I just told you how to solve that one. Again, I'm happy to help you, but I do want you to be following along and rewatching the video if you need to. No shame in that at all. Reach out if you need me. I'm happy to help you. Hope you guys have a great Thursday. I will see you next week. Bye.